I met our forefathers who give right judgment. They don't believe in money, they believe in judgment to get a good name, to activate themselves, to make sure that their community is in peace. And our king that time, or our chief, was trekking on the street in the community, be with his people, love with his people. But today, immediately you are being enthroned king or chief, you don't go Port Harcourt, you don't go Abuja, you don't get house for Lagos, you don't get house for here. You are no longer staying in your own community to see what is happening. Then who are you chiefing? Who are you king? Who are you ruling? When a case will come, you hand over to your caretaker or your next in command, he will rubbish you. I've witnessed several cases that has no justice. Even some of those cases, it is difficult for them to even give judgment, to give a judgment letter. You know, one of the cases, it took us almost 2 years to get judgment letter. As I speak to you, I can prove to you, to the world. And if you see that judgment, you'll be very surprised that this is a chief who knows the tradition of Ogoni land, who understands what tradition is all about, who understands the culture. But because of money, because of chicken money that has, from that, he wouldn't stay with him for 1 second, sold his right. And do we have justice? No. That is the reason why we come up like this. I said, look, for us to get a better justice, let the pastor also teach the king or direct or work with the king, enable this king to have a proper judgment to the people. Because the church is the king is the church is the chief is the church. There is no discrimination, there is no bias. We have to work together. Every king or chief of Ogoni must make sure 2 or 3 pastors is among his own cabinet. I remember one late Pagine Kekon from Okwadi community where I come from. When he was alive, he worked with the late highness, he worked with the late chief. All those chiefs in those days, he worked with them, he directed them, he talked to them. Sometimes he come to community, pray from house to house. In the morning, before you know, see in his compound, he will pray. When he's about to go, he will drop his oil in your compound. Say, let there be prosperity, let there be good. Until we are walking. That was what brought Jianwerelo in my village. So even when you were not Methodist church, you were ready to follow him. The man brought Jianwerelo. People are running today celebrating Jianwerelo. They don't know how that thing was formed. The man was not biased. Before they knocked on prayer to make sure they enter community town square for any meeting, they met with him, they discussed, he met with the chiefs, and things were working well. Go and check the record. There was nothing like crisis. There was nothing like any issues in this time. Yesterday, children were going to school very early. And people that were doing security was a military, an army, or police was posted to maybe secondary school to guide and also hold this command. Look at what children in the school are doing. There was hostel walking. People were trekking on the street till daybreak. And if children get to gate, when it is late, see, everybody will hurry to go to school so that they will not hold them late. The military will not be there, or military will not ask them to cultivate places or one thing or the other. And everything were working, hostel were working. I met when there was laborer. There was laborer that people were using laborer to train their children. They were cultivating that road from Okwali down to Bori. You know your own department, and things were working. People were surviving. Fish, we were going to farm, catch fish in the river, and we see a better fish to eat. But today it's no longer like that. I will say that we don't know what we are doing. It is because we forsake God. We try to do things on our own. We are not receiving God again. Everything about leadership has become something I don't think what people feel. But why you people are member of a church, but you don't allow church to be a member of your council, and that is the mistake. That is why we have to understand that leadership of that throne that you sit does not belong to, it belongs to God. If you check the days of old, David was a man of God. Even when King Saul tried to frustrate the children of God, he ended up becoming a pastor. He ended up becoming a preacher. Then today we have to work together.